Many would argue that a wrestler's attire is the single most important part of a character's makeup. And they'd probably have a point. Through their in-ring or entrance gear, a performer can pay homage to their heroes, send out a vital message, or even just stretch their creative muscles a little bit. However, not every costume choice is fortunate enough to live forever. And on some occasions, a distinctly different aesthetic direction can be retired on the very same night it was debuted. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestling attires we only saw once, and why. Number 10, Rey Mysterio Silver Surfer. When Rey Mysterio disappeared off WWE television for a while towards the end of 2006 due to an ACL injury, fans were left wondering when they get the chance to see the mass sensation dart around the ring once again. Then it was finally announced that Mysterio would be making his triumphant return at SummerSlam 2007 against Chavo Guerrero 10 months after he was put out of action by his rival on an episode of SmackDown. Everyone in the building was clearly overjoyed when they saw Mysterio pop up through the floor kitted out as the Fantastic Four villain, the Silver Surfer. Well, everyone except one man. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon did not approve of Mysterio's creativity on this occasion, and even went as far as to state that this was not Rey when lambasting Agent Dean Malenko for approving the attire. Mysterio had produced some stellar superhero-inspired gears before this, but this was a rare misstep for the legendary luchador, which was quickly retired soon after he'd put away Guerrero. Number 9, the New Day plain paint-by-numbers design. You can always expect a distinctly creative choice of gear whenever Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods make their way to a WWE ring. But their choice of attire at the 2020 Elimination Chamber event was truly one of a kind for a few reasons. At a glance, the gear was, well, quite unusual for Kingston and Big E, as it was a fairly simplistic yet pristine all-white choice of outfit. However, as soon as you scratched the surface, it became clear that this wasn't just any plain old ordinary white gear. It was actually a paint by numbers, or pain by numbers as the creator Jonathan Davenport labeled it, design, which also contained a little nod to their injured brethren, Woods. Brilliantly, this design has been built upon since its unveiling at Elimination Chamber, with it appearing again at WrestleMania 36 and at Money in the Bank, and it is still unfinished. This probably means that we'll never get to see that completely untouched version of the outfit again, and we may only in fact see the completely coloured in design when Woods finally reappears on WWE television. Number 8, Daniel Bryan khaki jacket. Daniel Bryan definitely is not afraid to try something different every now and again. Yet a few years back, Bryan's imagination may have got the better of him during the 2012 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Deviating from his usual leather jacket at that time, Bryan decided to equip himself with a badass looking khaki jacket on the way to the ring before his battle against WWE champion CM Punk. What's not to like? Well, everything if your name's Vince McMahon, apparently. Bryan mentioned in his 2015 book, Yes, My Improbable Journey to the Main Event of WrestleMania, that McMahon actually told a ringside official via headset that he wasn't a fan of the jacket, and that message was then passed on to Bryan in the ring, so he quickly took it off. And that was the last we saw of that magical khaki jacket. It still isn't exactly clear why the WWE chairman didn't like the idea of Bryan wearing this particular piece of clothing, but Bryan quickly moved on and hasn't tried to mix things up with a daring new jacket ever since. Number 7, Seth Rollins white and gold tights. Yeah, I know I'm cheating a little bit here because Seth Rollins did actually wear this twice. He wore it at SummerSlam 2015 and Night of Champions. But you gotta admit it, this gear was absolutely beautiful. Combined with an equally awesome white and gold vest, Rollins' angelic tights got over the second that he walked out of gorilla position with his WWE title wrapped around his waist. Over with everybody apart from that eternal party pooper Vince McMahon yet again. Rollins later confessed at a fan signing event in 2019 that Vince won't let me wear it, before following up with, he doesn't get it. That pretty much answers that then. The former Universal and WWE champion has since wore his fair share of fantastic attires over the years, but fans still clamoured for the return of the glorious white gear. Well, they finally got their wish at Mania 36 as Rollins finally revealed another white iteration of his outfit. However, this time Rollins had his Monday Night Messiah moniker etched in gold on his leg, and he'd replaced his slick vest with with a majestic robe of a religious leader for his entrance. Number 6, Velveteen Dream boxing-inspired gear. If there's one current NXT wrestler who knows how to make an occasion instantly feel special simply by altering his gear, it is the Velveteen Dream. He did exactly that when he decided to strip away his trademark silky tights for one night only at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia and replaced them with a boxing-style getup. Dream probably did this for 2 reasons. Firstly, he wanted to pay homage to the City of Brotherly Love's connection to the world of the legendary combat sport. Secondly, he wanted to prove a point to his rival on the night, Cassius Ohno. Ohno was billed as the knockout artist, and Dream wanted to beat the star at his own game, which meant not only dressing up as a legitimate striker, but also delivering on his promise to finish Ohno in 30 seconds flat. That sounds a bit weird now. Unfortunately for Dream, he wasn't able to settle things quite that quickly. But he did manage to overcome Ohno via a purple Rainmaker in the end, and has clearly not felt the need to bring back the boxing shorts and boots look ever since. Number 5, Cedric Alexander, Gary the Goat Garbutt. Admittedly, this is still one of the weirdest one-off attire changes in recent wrestling history. On an episode of Monday Night Raw in July 2019, Shane McMahon and his evil henchman, future WWE champion Drew McIntyre were desperately trying to find a tag partner for Roman Reigns backstage. They eventually stumbled upon a janitor called Gary Garbutt and convinced him to stand there and do nothing in their match against the big dog for $5,000. He would also have to wear a mask. So far, so Monday Night Raw. Things were all going to plan for McMahon and McIntyre until the 3-time Prudential Employee of the Month started to bounce around the ring like a cruiserweight in the latter stages of the match. Then Garbutt was eventually obliterated by the Scot via Claymore kick, so much for that. However, the real shocker came at the end of the night when Garbutt took off his luchador mask and was revealed to be none other than former cruiserweight champion Cedric Alexander. Needless to say, Alexander hasn't tapped into his janitorial alter ego ever since this rather pointless reveal, and we'd probably prefer it if he kept it that way. Number 4, Shawn Michaels Earth Tights. Proving that even the sexy boy could look like crap, or at least like he's wearing it, Shawn Michaels openly admitted that his decision to opt for those dull brown tights on one of the biggest nights of his career was a bad one. Michaels had just recently discovered Christianity, and his earth-colored attire was a way of representing his creation by God. It appears that Michaels' late decision to lace his religious beliefs into his costume led to the WWE seamstress not being able to finish off the tights in time. So that's why there was only one heart stamped onto his crotch, and the rest of the outfit was left mostly bare at Survivor Series 2002. Michaels probably decided soon after winning the World Heavyweight title in the first ever Elimination Chamber match that those leggings weren't really for him. But Stephanie McMahon's comment on him looking like a giant turd was likely the final nail in the dreadfully drab choice of clothing's coffin. Number 3, CM Punk Macho Man. When Macho Man Randy Savage suddenly passed away after suffering a heart attack whilst driving in May 2011, the entire wrestling world was thrown into a state of shock. Many paid tribute to the Trailblazer in their own way in the wake of his death, and one star in particular opted to do so by changing up their signature attire on the first Raw after his untimely passing. CM Punk strutted down to the ring in bright pink trunks with white stars printed on them, and he also boasted beaming yellow versions of his trademark knee and shin pads. This aesthetic tribute did only end up being a one-night only tip of the cap, but Punk would later incorporate Macho Man's signature elbow drop into his arsenal for the rest of his tenure in the company. Number 2, Mark Henry USA gear. Mark Henry first appeared on WWF programming at the age of 24 back in 1996, during a skit which involved him press slamming Jerry Lawler after the King had been making fun of him during an interview. That does not sound wise. After he competed at the 1996 Olympic Games, Mark Henry eventually signed a 10-year deal with the company and was thrown into a feud with Lawler for his first real program. Only when Henry finally made his way to the ring for his first ever singles match as a professional wrestler, he turned up wearing a positively ghastly red, white and blue singlet for his first match against the King at In Your House Mind Games. Henry would continue to wear this ridiculous number for a few matches on the house circuit circuit until he was suddenly struck down by injury before Survivor Series. He would again pop up in the terrible gear for a tug-of-war involving Hunter Hearst Helmsley in November of that year. But Henry only returned as an active in-ring performer a year later, and he was then dressed in a plain black singlet. Injury thankfully forced a reset of Henry's entire presentation, and mercifully that meant doing away with this patriotic mess of a wrestling suit. Number 1. Velveteen Dream Hogan/Prince Puma Hybrid. Way back in 2014, the immortal Hulk Hogan was part of the panel which booted a fellow known as Patrick Clark off that year's edition of Tough Enough. Hogan even went as far as to say that the young star's promo skills sucked at one point during his time on the show, and he wanted to see less of the Patrick Smart mark. Well, fast forward 3 years and Clark, now going by the name of Velveteen Dream, wanted to prove to the Hulkster exactly why this smart mark became the biggest star to come out of that year's Tough Enough. Dream wore Hogan's trademark feather scarves and bandana during his entrance at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, and used those colours to also poke at his rival on the night, Ricochet's Prince Puma past. He would only use the Puma markings on this one occasion as a way of mocking his TakeOver opponent, but Dream was not finished with his old tormentor Hogan. Going one step further and fully Hollywood at NXT TakeOver War Games, Dream strutted to the ring decked in Hogan's trademark black and white attire. Dream now appears to have made his point, and has left all mentions of Hogan in the rearview mirror since this 2018 period of proving exactly why he always had what it took to succeed in this business. And that's our list. Know of any other wrestling attires we only saw once? Let us know all about them in the comment section below, and do not forget to like, share, click on that subscribe button and ring the bell while you're there. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and click on some more brilliant articles just like the one this video is based on. I have been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.